What do you want to be if you grow up? I know. The question is usually when you grow up, but the twist is deliberate. The answer is also going to be a bit of a twist. Hey, before we start doing the twist, welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. Thanks for joining me. I'm truly grateful that you're here. My goal is to introduce people to the Jesus they never knew and help them to get to know Him and His Word personally and better. So if our time together today speaks to your heart, let me invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Also join our email list. You'll get a free copy of my book, Count to One, and you'll get Mornings with Bishop Robert sent directly to your inbox every day. There's lots of other great benefits too, so click the link in the description and find out all about it. Well, the twist behind the question about growing up is that your age actually has little to do with it. I've known of children that have displayed wisdom and courage well beyond their years and their life choices. I've also known of grown-ups who've acted like anything but. On November 14th, 1960, a 6-year-old girl walked into an elementary school in New Orleans. Now that seemingly mundane act was actually a massive display of courage. You see, in 1960, the United States was still mired in segregation and racial hatred. And when a federal judge ordered New Orleans to open its public schools to black children, white parents let it be known that any black children who came to school would be in for real trouble. White parents were keeping their kids out of school because of hatred and stupidity. Black parents were keeping their kids out of school because of fear. But 6-year-old Ruby Bridges went to school anyway. Every morning she walked alone through a heckling crowd to an otherwise empty school. White people actually lined up on both sides of the street and shook their fists at her and threatened to do terrible things to her if she kept coming to their school. But every morning, at 10 minutes to 8, Ruby walked, head up, eyes ahead, straight through the mob. 2 U.S. Marshals walked ahead of her, and 2 walked behind her. And then she spent the day alone with her teachers inside the big, silent school building. Well, today's verse says, "Be strong and courageous." When asked about her daughter's courage, Ruby's mother said, "There's a lot of people who talk about doing good, and a lot of people who argue about what's good and what's not. Then there's other folks who just put their lives on the line for what's right and do good." After I was reading today's verse and praying for insight, it occurred to me that the verb in this verse is critical. Be. Only 2 letters, but they define everything of importance in a single syllable. Strength and courage must translate into action if they're to find their expression in our lives. Fear is debilitating and crippling. When I see someone with that deer in the headlights look, I often remind myself that being paralyzed by fear seldom works out well for the deer. But how can someone find strength and courage when facing situations that paralyze others in a world that appears to be out of control? Well, the answer is actually a simple one. How do you find anything you're ever looking for? The only way is by looking in the right place. It doesn't matter how hard you look or how often you look in the wrong place, because the outcome never depends on your effort or your determination. Look, let me explain with this illustration. If I left my mobile phone at a store, I can only find it by looking at that store. Oh, I could search my home and my study very carefully. I can open every drawer. I can look under every piece of furniture. But I'm not going to find it. I'm not going to find it because it's not there. I'll never find it until I look in the right place. I mean, even if I get help from people with perfect eyesight and they bring in flashlights, makes no difference. You can only find something by looking in the right place. Well, in order to be courageous, you have to overcome fear. Because courage is doing what you're afraid to do. There can be no courage unless you're scared. And my Bible tells me that perfect love casts out fear. And the place to find the love that will cast out your fear is at the foot of the cross. Yeah, we can grow up and embrace both love and courage there at the foot of the cross. The greatest act of courage this world has ever known is when the Son of God, Jesus Christ, went on his final walk to Jerusalem. The Bible tells us that even though Jesus knew that he was going to be crucified, he set his face toward Jerusalem. And he didn't flinch. Because he had decided that even though he had to die to reconcile this world back to God, he was going to go through with it. He went knowing what was ahead. And the motivation for this incredible act of courage? Well, it's called love. And his perfect love for us cast out any element of fear that would hold him back. Yeah, love won't protect you from every problem or attack. Love removes the fear and allows you to face them in peace, knowing that the outcome is in the hands of the one who loves you more. You know, the website for the No Fear brand features images of people in all sorts of extreme sports situations. My favorite is an upside-down biker, pictured in the middle of a 360-degree jump. He appears to be doing the impossible and riding his bike on the ceiling. And the phrase that's repeated in all of those incredibly challenging situations that are pictured on the website, this is my comfort zone. Though the situations appear to be anything but comfortable. But the underlying message from No Fear is clear. When you overcome fear, the uncomfortable can become comfortable. When you can overcome fear, you can learn to do things that most other people would never even attempt. Overcoming fear lets you be strong and courageous. It broadens your comfort zone to the edges of reality and beyond. As grown-up believers, his perfect love casts out our fear, regardless of your age. And then it invites us to enter the battle. The same love that casts out our fear opens a world of opportunities to serve the one we love. His love determines where we're called, and it redefines our comfort zone by overcoming fear with love. Will you choose to let his love overcome your fear with his strength and courage? And when you do, where will his love take you? Where will you find fulfillment in the love of Christ? The biker's skill and determination allowed him to be upside down for a brief moment. But your gifts and calling will enable you to turn your world upside down as you live out the verse, be strong and courageous. Hey, welcome to your new comfort zone. Only enough time left today to ask you to help me introduce people to the Jesus they never knew and help them to get to know him and his word personally and better. Please like this video to help more people see it. And then click follow or subscribe so that you and I can get together every day. Click the link down in the description to get a free copy of my book, Count to One, God's Plan for Christian Unity. And one more thing. Share this with a friend, would you? Because as you do, you're part of the team, touching more than 1 million hearts all over the world with the love of Jesus. Thanks for helping.